You've just noticed that your calf numbers are lower than they were last year. You have the same number of mother cows, and you know that each cow must have a calf in order to remain profitable. So what's going on? What is causing this? Is there a disease that could be the culprit? There is one that you should give serious consideration to. It is called Trichomoniasis. Today I'm going to tell you what Trichomoniasis is, the clinical signs that we should be looking for, and the effects that it has on cattle producers. So let's jump right in. First of all, what is Trichomoniasis? Cattlemen and veterinarians alike simply refer to it as Trich. According to the Merck Veterinary Manual, which was last updated in 2014, Trich is a protozoa, which means it is a small, tiny, unable to be seen by most microscopes, parasitic organism. In this case, it causes early fetal death and infertility in your cows. This little nasty organism, Trich, can be found in the reproductive tracts of adult animals, males and females alike. According to the Beef Site's webpage entitled Bovine Trichomoniasis, a venereal disease of cattle, this disease is transmitted through natural service or natural breeding, which means you can have an infected cow that is in turn serviced by at that time, clean bull. Now he's infected, and he can go on and infect your whole herd, turning it into an epidemic for you. So now that we know what it is, let's take a look at some of the clinical signs that we may see. The first and most obvious is a reduced number in pregnant cows for a certain period of time. This comes from the source of Cattle Today's site entitled Trichomoniasis, which was last updated in 2013. We can see a few very subtle signs in the cows. However, they are difficult to spot. Infovet's webpage that is simply entitled Trichomoniasis says that some of the signs that we may see in our breeding females are reduced pregnancy rates, they're open, they're not bred. We can see the cows coming into heat once more, and rarely we could see a uterine infection. Even cattle producers that are with their herd once daily have found it very difficult to actually find visual signs other than your cow is not bred, she's not pregnant. Now we need to discuss what we would see in the bulls. The bulls are asymptomatic carriers, which this means that they do not show any clinical signs. Trich does not physically harm the bulls. They do, however, once they have become infected, they are infected for the rest of their lives. So now we know what Trich is, the clinical signs to look for. Now let's examine what the effects are to a cow-calf producer. Today I'm just simply going to discuss the financial effects. As stated before, more cows may be open, which means they're not pregnant. Or if you have a longer breeding period, this means that you will have a longer calving interval, which would be translated into from the time your first calf is born until your last calf is born. The reason this can be damaging to producers is you have smaller calves. In the fall, calves are sold by the pound. According to Thomas Field's book that is entitled Beef Production and Management Decisions, which was published in 2013, a typical calf can gain 3 pounds in one day. If you look at this cow, usually calves in March, and now she's calved in April. You have missed 90 pounds of growth, which in today's market translates into $230 lost. Another damaging financial effect is, as mentioned before, once bulls are infected, they are infected for the rest of their lives, and they can infect the rest of your cow herd, which in turn would infect the rest of your bulls. So the first primarily infected bull should be sold. Now you need to replace this animal. That's at a cost in today's market of $3,000 and upward. Most producers, if a cow is not going to calve for them or produce a calf, they will sell that female. Then, in turn, you are looking at a $1,500 loss or substitution that you have to do. Now you have to sell a cow at a lesser value and buy another one. In conclusion, we have looked at what trick is, what the difficult clinical signs are, and some of the damaging effects that trick can have. We need to understand what trick is, so we best know how to combat its damaging effects.